Cardi B and Stefon Diggs are suddenly at the center of a messy new controversy after Diggs' former chef made explosive claims about their relationship online. Now reports are saying Cardi may be preparing legal action, and the situation is quickly spiraling into a public disaster. Mila Adams moved into Stefon Diggs' home in July 2025 as his private chef at $2,000 a week. She testified in court that her relationship with Diggs became sexual while he was publicly dating Cardi B. Adams said she met Diggs in 2022 on Instagram, and that the two became friends, at times friends with benefits, before she was later hired to live in his home and prepare his meals during the football season. They knew each other long before Cardi B entered the picture, and when Diggs started dating one of the biggest rappers in the world, Adams was still in the house, still cooking the meals, still around. Cardi announced her pregnancy on CBS Mornings in September 2025. Their son was born in November. The alleged assault on Adams took place on December 2nd, less than a month later. Adams testified that Diggs smacked me with an open hand before wrapping his arm around her neck and choking her, leaving her struggling to breathe. She testified that an argument over a planned trip to Miami and unpaid wages escalated into physical violence. That allegation set off a chain of events that dragged Cardi B, the NFL, and the court system into what became one of the most watched celebrity trials of 2026. When the charges first surfaced, Cardi B did not stay quiet. She posted on social media that Adams had never once mentioned being touched. She shared a text she said proved the chef was lying. She told critics she wanted apologies on their knees once the courts handled it. Cardi went a bat for Diggs. She backed him publicly, and in doing so, she tied her own name directly to the outcome of whatever happened between him and the woman living under his roof. Fast forward to May 2026, Diggs was found not guilty of assaulting and strangling his former live-in chef in a pay dispute. The trial lasted just 2 days, and the jury reached its verdict to acquit Diggs on all charges after less than 2 hours of deliberation. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Mila Adams, the former chef for Diggs, released a dramatic video on social media directed at Cardi B, alleging that the NFL star mistreated the rapper throughout her pregnancy. And with that single video, Adams threw a grenade into what was supposed to be a happy weekend between Cardi and the man she was apparently getting back together with. So, how did we get here? How did a personal chef become the central figure in a saga involving one of hip-hop's biggest names and an NFL Pro Bowler? And why, after winning in court, is Diggs still not free of the noise? To understand all of that, we have to go back to how this whole relationship even started. Rumors first started swirling in October 2024 after Cardi and Stefon were spotted together at a club. Cardi immediately shut down the speculation at the time, calling it crazy without further comment. But the whispers weren't going away. TMZ caught footage of them arriving at a Miami hotel together in the middle of the night on Valentine's Day 2025. They were also seen at a nightclub together the week before. The initial attraction was simple. Cardi later told Today that she thought he was cute and connected with him through mutual friends. "I was like, oh, he got to be mine," she said in September 2025. They made their first public appearance in May 2025 while attending a playoff game between the Celtics and Knicks at Madison Square Garden. From that point on, the relationship was out in the open, and the celebrity press couldn't get enough. Now, Diggs was in the middle of a career revival at this point. His 1,000-yard season marked the 7th of his career. It helped complete a successful career revival after a season-ending knee injury derailed what turned out to be a 1-year stay with the Houston Texans in 2024. He had signed a massive deal with New England and was performing at an elite level again. He was one of the faces of a Patriots team on a Super Bowl run, and now he had one of the most famous women in the world on his arm. But behind the glamour and the courtside appearances and the Instagram posts, things were more complicated than they looked. They welcomed their baby boy on November 4th, just 2 days before a paternity test found that Diggs had also welcomed a 7-month-old daughter named Charlie, with model Aline Lo Pereira. That detail is staggering when you let it sit for a moment. 2 days after his son with Cardi B is born, it comes out that he fathered another child with another woman entirely. And that child was already 7 months old, which means the timeline of that other relationship overlapped directly with the early days of him and Cardi. The main reason for their split in February 2026 was a combination of trust issues following a paternity test bombshell and the pressure surrounding the Super Bowl. The cracks in the foundation were already there before the chef situation even surfaced publicly. Then, just weeks after the baby was born, the alleged incident with Adams happened. On December 2, the Patriots released a statement backing Diggs. The New England Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stefon Diggs, the organization said. Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. And Cardi, publicly at least, stood with him. She pushed back on the allegations, called Adams a liar, and made it clear she believed Diggs. But by the time the Super Bowl arrived in February, the relationship was already in flames. The pair's split became public just days before Super Bowl LX on February 8th, when eagle-eyed fans noticed they unfollowed each other on Instagram. Cardi gave signs that their romance was in trouble when an ESPN reporter asked her before the game if she could share an inspiring message for Diggs. Her demeanor quickly changed, with a smile vanishing from her face as she joked, "Good luck," and swiftly walked away. That 2-word response told you everything. The Patriots lost decisively 29-13 to the Seattle Seahawks, and Diggs lost more than a football game that night. The wide receiver hung with Pre, a woman who allegedly had an affair with Offset during his marriage to Cardi at the Super Bowl. Think about that. On what was already one of the worst nights of his professional career, Diggs was spotted with the exact person who would cause maximum emotional damage to his baby's mother. Whether it was intentional or not, the optics were devastating. The breakup occurred because Diggs betrayed her so many times. That's what the source told us weekly. And the language around it, the betrayals, the trust issues. The pattern painted a picture of a relationship that had been deteriorating long before the public caught wind of it. In early March 2026, while performing on the San Francisco leg of her Little Miss Drama tour, Cardi B took a moment to address her former flame from the stage. Although she never mentioned Diggs by name, her fiery comments were widely interpreted as a direct response to their rocky relationship. Amid cheers from her fans, the mother of 4 declared that she was too grown to be played with and questioned why anyone would risk losing a woman of her caliber. The stage became her therapy, and the fans, they were the witnesses. While Cardi was on tour processing her breakup in front of sold-out arenas, Diggs was dealing with something that could have ended his freedom entirely. Former New England Patriots receiver Stefon Diggs was found not guilty on Tuesday of assaulting his private chef in a pay dispute. The 4-time Pro Bowl wideout pleaded not guilty in February to a felony strangulation charge and a misdemeanor assault and battery charge stemming from the alleged dispute. The trial itself was brief, but revealing. Diggs stood trial in Dedham, Massachusetts over the course of 2 days on charges of felony strangulation or suffocation and misdemeanor assault and battery. Adams took the stand and described the night in detail. Adams testified that Diggs came into her bedroom in the house on December 2nd and smacked me with an open hand before wrapping his arm around her neck. "He began to choke me," Adams said. "I tried to hit him back, but I couldn't." But the defense dismantled her testimony methodically. There were no photographs of injuries or any statements between December 20th, the day of the alleged attack, and December 16th, meaning the sole evidence was the word of Jamila Adams. His chief of staff, his massage therapist, a nurse who provided IV treatments, and his hairstylist all testified that they saw Adams around the time of the alleged attack and that she said nothing about being assaulted. His hairstylist, Jaya Charles, testified that she spent time with Adams in New York in the days after the alleged incident and did not notice any injuries. She said that Adams appeared normal and that she did not see marks on Adams' neck or elsewhere. Defense attorneys also showed jurors cell phone videos of Adams socializing, including clips of her in a car listening to and dancing, which they suggested showed her demeanor in the days following the incident. Then came the moment that arguably sealed the case. Defense attorney Silva asked Adams if it's true that her lawyer demanded $5 million from Diggs. "Mr. Diggs offered me $100,000 to recant my statement," Adams responded. Judge Jean Marie Carroll told jurors to disregard her answer. Court then went into recess, and Carroll gave Adams a warning without the jury present. "This is not an opportunity for you to interject your own narrative," the judge said. "If you continue to do so, your entire testimony may be stricken." That exchange was catastrophic for Adams' credibility. She didn't answer the question that was asked. She pivoted to a claim about hush money, a claim the judge immediately told the jury to ignore. And the evasiveness around the $5 million demand hung in the air like a cloud. The prosecution couldn't clear. We had the suggestion by defense counsel that this was a play for money, that her team had demanded $5 million from Stefon Diggs, which was one of the questions she chose not to answer, which I think was damaging to her, an analyst said. "I think that evasiveness was pretty clear to the jury. She just wasn't credible." Assistant District Attorney Drew Virtue urged jurors to weigh Adams' testimony carefully and not to disregard it because she was not a perfect witness. She was argumentative, avoidant, difficult. But does that mean you should throw away everything she said? No. He said the defense's closing argument was decisive. "You have not been provided with a single shred of credible evidence to show that any assault happened inside the house that day," defense attorney Andrew Kettlewell told the jury. The jury reached a verdict after just over 1 hour of deliberations. Not guilty on all counts. Diggs' attorney, Mitchell Schuster, said after the verdict that no assault ever occurred. "Domestic violence is a very, very serious issue in this country, and it's disconcerting when people use it as a sword and manufacture claims in an attempt to extract money," Schuster told reporters. After the not guilty verdict was read, Diggs, who was standing, blinked repeatedly, and there appeared to be a tear just under his eye. The Patriots released Diggs in March despite a productive 2025 season in which he caught 85 passes for 1,013 yards in helping New England to the AFC title. Schuster said that Diggs hopes to return to the NFL. That release is a detail that doesn't get enough attention. Even though the trial hadn't happened yet, New England let him go. A receiver who just helped him get to the Super Bowl. A receiver who put up over 1,000 yards. They cut him loose. The acquittal clears a path for Diggs' return to the field, but he still could face discipline from the NFL. "We have been monitoring all developments in the matter, which remains under review of the personal conduct policy," NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said. So even with a not guilty verdict, Diggs' football future remains uncertain. And his personal life, that was about to get even more chaotic. 4 days after being acquitted, Diggs hosted a charity event. Stefon Diggs celebrated his acquittal with a quick kiss, pecking Cardi B on the cheek during a charity event. The NFL star hosted his Diggs Deep Foundation Mother's Day wellness event Saturday, and his baby mama Cardi made a cameo, posing for photos and hanging all over the wide receiver. At one point, Diggs even dipped Cardi and pressed a quick smooch to her cheek while the pair posed in front of a pink background at the event. Even after the cameras stopped shooting, the two still gave off flirty energy, with Cardi running a hand over Diggs' chest. It looked like a fairy tale redemption arc. The man who just beat criminal charges kissing the woman who had stood by him through the worst months of his life. A Mother's Day event. A foundation named after his mission to give back. And the mother of his youngest child right beside him. A source told us weekly, Cardi and Stefon are giving things another shot. She's giving him a second chance but is not fully committing to him. Things are no longer contentious, the source further stated. She still has love for Stefon, which makes it difficult to walk away, But within hours of those photos circulating online, the fairy tale was interrupted. Chef Mills Bell, whose real name is reportedly Jamila Mila Adams, took to social media days after Diggs' acquittal to share what many interpreted as an emotional warning to Cardi B. "Cardi, you know I didn't lie," Adams wrote on her Instagram page. She also gave a video speech to Cardi in the post. "You know exactly who he really is. He did it to you." That last sentence, "he did it to you," 4 words that sent the internet into a spiral. She spoke specifically about the way Diggs allegedly spoke to and treated Cardi B while she was pregnant, as well as his conduct in the delivery room and during the period after their son was born in November. In her post, Adams claimed she had previously apologized to the rapper for how he treated her during pregnancy and afterward, adding that alleged messages between the women proves that. Adams' most striking statement came near the end of her message. "A man at war with himself will hurt others. It's a losing battle and women are just collateral damage." The quote quickly circulated across social media platforms. She also had a message for Cardi B's braider, who seemingly worked for Stefon for a bit when the two were dating, claiming that Gia Charles was aware of the physical assault that she alleges took place at the hands of Diggs. During the trials, Yaya was called to testify on behalf of Diggs, but she refuted Mela's claims. "I know what I lived through," Adams wrote. "He knows what happened and the people who know him know the truth, too. These texts were submitted into evidence but not addressed. Let's stop the scorned woman narrative. I didn't come this far to stay quiet." The video has been viewed more than 431,000 times. The public response was divided. Some believed Adams. Some saw this as a woman who lost in court and was now trying to win in the court of public opinion. Even though the NFL free agent was found not guilty on assault and felony strangulation charges, Adams still wants to win in the court of public opinion. These public accusations from his former chef emerged at a time when Diggs and Cardi B appear more united than ever. Despite the serious nature of the claims regarding her pregnancy, the rapper chose to spend Mother's Day weekend by the athlete's side. And that juxtaposition, the photos of them kissing on one screen and Adams' tearful video playing on another, created a split-screen narrative that the internet couldn't stop debating. The Mila Adams situation is just one thread in a much larger tapestry of legal chaos surrounding Stefon Diggs. Because while the chef trial was dominating headlines, there's another case that has been quietly building for months. Stefon Diggs is going after a social media star who accused him of drugging, sexually assaulting, and later conspiring to kill him, with the NFL star calling the claims pure fiction. The lawsuit was filed by Diggs on October 1st, with the Patriots star wide out accusing would-be social media influencer Christopher Blake Griffith of concocting a story about him, stemming from an alleged incident at Stefon's Rockville, Maryland home in May 2023. According to Diggs, he, Griffith, and other influencers went to a local club and then returned home after a charity basketball game in May 2023 in Washington, D.C. Diggs claims he went to his bedroom and his assistant asked Griffith to leave. Diggs says that was the extent of it, a mundane night. But Griffith's version is wildly different. In Chris Blake Griffith's countersuit, the influencer alleges that on May 21, 2023, Diggs offered him candy that he believed to be drugs. Griffith alleges that after eating the substance, his pupils became dilated, his skin began to tingle, and he found it difficult to form words. Diggs' brother, Darius Diggs, was previously charged with attacking Griffith and subsequently faced a lawsuit from the influencer. Griffith insists that Stefon sent his brother to kill him to keep Diggs' sexual assault quiet. Darius Diggs pleaded no contest to felony grand theft of a person, receiving 2 years probation and community service. That detail about Darius is significant. The brother didn't go to trial and fight the charge. He took a plea deal, and Griffith has argued that the attack was orchestrated by Stefon himself. Griffith's attorney is pushing the court to intervene, saying Diggs does not get to sue and hide, as they seek documentation tied to Diggs' claims of reputational and financial damage. Even Cardi B weighed in on the Griffith situation. Chris lied because he was stealing and got caught. There's receipts for that. She wrote during a public argument on social media. So here's where things stand today. Diggs was acquitted in the Adams case, but his former chef is not going away quietly. She's posting videos tagging Cardi B and claiming there's more to the story than what the jury saw. Meanwhile, the Griffith lawsuit is ongoing, with his accusers seeking financial records and accusing Diggs of trying to obstruct discovery. The Patriots released him despite his on-field production. He's a free agent with no team, and the NFL is still reviewing the matter under its personal conduct policy, meaning discipline could still come even after the acquittal. And at the center of all of it is Cardi B, a woman who had a baby with this man, defended him publicly, broke up with him, went on tour, called him out on stage, and then showed up at his Mother's Day event to kiss him on the cheek in front of cameras. They are always so up and down, a source said, and that might be the most honest description of this entire saga. The truth is, we don't know what happened behind those doors on December 2nd, 2025. A jury said the prosecution didn't prove its case. That doesn't mean nothing happened. It means the evidence didn't meet the legal standard. Adams insists she's telling the truth. Diggs' team says she made it all up for money, and the only people who were actually in that room are the two of them. What we do know is that a woman who lived in Diggs' home, cooked his meals, and had a prior sexual relationship with him is now publicly begging the mother of his child to open her eyes. We know that Cardi B has heard the warnings from her own friends, from the internet, and now from someone who claims to be an eyewitness to who Diggs really is behind closed doors. And we know that Cardi chose to stand next to him anyway. Whether that choice is love, loyalty, denial, or something else entirely, that's not for any of us to decide. But the story is far from over. Adams said she's not going to be quiet. Griffith's legal team is pushing forward, and the NFL hasn't made its final call. Stefon Diggs won in court, but the court of public opinion is still in session.